What's going on, everybody? Non here, and we've done a couple pretty detailed, sophisticated videos the last couple nights. This is going to be a little more blunt. We're going to talk about what I'm buying, what I'm looking at, where I think there's value in the market right now. We're going to go through the two biggies. Then we're going to go through a couple indies and just point out some thoughts here. So, Magic the Gathering, Aether Drift collector boxes. These are really starting to dry up. Now we've seen the big bump in hype and they've pulled back. There are 383 on the market. For the longest time, this was in the five. So they are starting to dry up. Only 110 sold in the last month. But ultimately, I think we're not going to get too far until we get to that 250 range. Now you're going to have folks like the boardroom here who have a bunch of product that they've just been sitting on. That's dead money. Amazing discoveries here. So there's going to be some volume to work through. But if you can get in at a reasonable entry point, you're probably a year away from these being at $300, which is pretty interesting. Innistrad Remastered. This one is a huge sleeper. So obviously everybody's seen this go from $250 up to $300. But I want to point out that outside of this big buyout here, there's only 228 of these on the market, and 100 have sold in the last month. As these start to move back up toward all-time highs, and you can see this movement right here, I think the buying is going to start to accelerate. And I would be very surprised if these don't start to get close to, I'm going to say $500 by the middle of next year, because they're just going to dry up. Now, the shitty part about this is the singles in the set aren't great, but the sealed product is going to stand the test of time because you have the serialized card. Hint, hint, WotC, don't do anything stupid like you are on the current sets. And look, there's some cool cards in here, playable cards, etc. So the sealed product's the way to go. Final Fantasy pre-release pack cases. So I love these pre-release kits. They have the foil stamp on them that says 2025. I believe this is FF also. At the very least, it says 2025. I like the case because the case is 15 at $1,100. You have this. It's a little bit of a cleaner package than buying the loose packs at $80. But some of the pre-release cards still go for north of $100. And I think as this set ages and continues to go out of print now, outside of the Commander decks, we do have reprints potentially coming of the regular booster bundles and certainly of the play boxes. So I would stay away from anything that has anything to do with those right now because they're going to get reprinted. Now, if you guys are like me, when there's a big dump on the market of Commander decks, that's when I like to buy them. You sit on them for 2 or 3 months, and then the EB recovers. You either break them for singles or you can sell them on the market. So obviously I have distro access, so I get them at the cheapest price around. So they're not bad to sit on. And, if you can get some of these decks at $185, I think distro price is right around $160, depending on the distro. On the Commander decks, it is. It's a reasonable price, but I would much rather put money in the pre-release kits because they're not getting reprinted anymore and they're disappearing every day. Brings me to kind of my favorite here is the gift bundles. Now, this is a little bit of a double-edged sword. So you have the collector pack. The collector boxes have taken a little bit of a breather here. Obviously, they ran very far, very fast. And then you have the entire bot community that botted the shit out of them on Amazon, Walmart, etc., panicking, and now they're just dumping everything because, generally speaking, that's not the most sophisticated group in the world. But the gift bundles have followed suit here. Now you have the Omegas that sell for $145, $150. You have the 2 promos in here, which are probably worth $25 each. So there's almost no value in these. That's assigned to the 9 play packs. And obviously the price of the play packs is going to go down. But if you look at this, there's only 232 left listed here. And you can see we have a big recovery and we have a little bit of a consolidation phase. This is going to start to move up relatively soon here. And you can see as we go down, there's a series of not a whole heck of a lot of sales here. These are generally speaking folks that are just trying to flip these. So there's a good amount until we get back to 205. But I think it's unsophisticated folks that are just trying to dump these as quickly as possible. And if we go to the collector box really quickly, I just want to double check where these are. Collector booster. There we go. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're under 13 here, which is awesome. I might buy that one while I'm here. Because why the fuck not? So if we look at all of the, yeah, it looks like there's been a race to zero, which is interesting because these were at 1340 for the longest time. So this to me screams stores are looking for liquidity. Again, you have some smaller sellers here. Maybe they're just trying to get $1,300 for this. $1,300, I'd probably buy this all day long. Now you have 315 listed. So the number listed keeps going up, even though the sales continue to be in the teens. So it's a little interesting. I'm not quite sure where all the products is coming from here. You're still not that far from 1350, but I kind of hope it keeps going down. That would make me happy because I would certainly like buying more. So let's move to Pokemon, everybody's favorite, Shrouded Fable. So let's start with the ETB cases. As we're seeing all of these new reprints coming out outside of, we just got Twilight, and we're going to get Surging Sparks in a week or two. Through distro, it's not a lot. It might be 22 to 27,000 ETBs per major distro. It's not a whole heck of a lot. And my understanding is Surging Sparks could be less. So the bulk of these reprints, they're going through big box stores, and the cases just don't exist. So there's 3 left here at 743 for Shrouded. So Shrouded it's the worst product. And when I say the worst, the least demanded product in the best era of Pokemon. And the best era of Pokemon is the current era of Pokemon, where you can get the product if you're looking at this for price appreciation. It doesn't matter if you're fond of Sword and Shield, XY, Sun and Moon, the best era for buying Pokemon is the current era. And it's always going to be that way. So these are interesting. The singles are fine too. There's not a lot. There's like 100 some left. Oh shit, what did I do here? Well, let's close that out. So here we have the regular. I would prefer, my personal preference is the Pokemon Center ETBs, because right now they're sitting just under $100 when the regular ETBs are at 70. You get the promo, you get the 2 extra packs. There is value in buying these over everything else. You can see here, this is just a bunch of not normal sellers who probably picked these up off Pokemon Center just trying to move them. But the big boys right here. The Pokemon Center ETB case. Now, TCG players sucks from the perspective that they're not accepting reseller certificates, even though we're a pretty big store at this point. We're doing, a lot. We'll just leave it at that. Buying off TCG player sucks because we have to pay sales tax, and then we have to file for remittance with the state. But on eBay, we don't have to. We have tax exempt status. Anything under $500 here is an absolute steal. I mean, you're talking $125 per ETB. These ETBs should be through the roof. This set is most likely not going to get reprinted. And I would imagine that as this goes out of print in 2027, the scarcity of this set is going to drive all the value. And quite honestly, it's a small set, but it's not a bad set. So moving on. Now, I did a lot of buying this about a month ago, the Journey Together Pokemon Center ETBs. And I'll tell you guys what I tell everybody in Discord. The best time to buy product is when there is the maximum supply of the product on the market, which is right after release. Here, everybody and their brother dumped the product. I think I got a bunch of them for 105 here at some point, 105, 110. There's 59 in the market, but these should be at $200. I mean, the boxes are back to $250. This is very cheap. This is a set that's going to age well. I think it has a long way to go. So we're going to talk about some interesting stuff here. So Final Fantasy TCG, this is something that nobody pays attention to. And for those of you who don't know, I think they're on like their 17th or 20th set. The next set coming out is their 15th anniversary. It's run by Square Enix, but it is a small little niche game. That being said, the booster boxes have performed extraordinarily well. Now, it is a very, very tiny market. So Gunslinger in the Abyss is the newest set that's come out. And again, this is just pure spec on my part. There's 312 boxes that have sold, or I'm sorry, 312 listed, 295 that have sold. And we can see the price is $61.80. This is above distribution price. So there is some profit in the set. But what I want to do, what I really want to do, I want to look at the last set. And what they did was they cut the size of the boxes in half, which kind of screwed things up a little bit from a comparison. So here you have 18 packs per box. The last set was 36, so it's not apples to apples. I think the new boxes are like $42 from distro, and they're selling for $62 now. So again, there's profit there. The old boxes were like $75, but look at this. In the 6 months it's been out, 217 listed, 362 sold. So really almost the same ratio with a little bit of extra time passing. But these things bounced and they went straight up. And if you look at the recent sets, they've all done the same thing. I'm looking at it to try to figure out why. Now, if you look at the singles, it's not going to show me the singles because this is a little indie game that doesn't look great on TCG Player. But the chase cards in these boxes are like $1,000 and they sell. And especially with the popularity of Final Fantasy in Magic, I'm sniffing around a little bit. I think it's interesting to have small positions in sealed because, again, they're all moving. And they're moving in a meaningful way. Let me see if I can pull. I don't know what the last set is before this. I'm just going to guess one here because I don't really know. No, well, that's not going to do shit because that's not an actual set. Well, you know what? This is why. Let's do it this way. So if we look at, let's look at this, Resurgence of Power. I have no idea when this set came out. But if you look at the boxes here, again, these boxes are $120. This is an older set. But distro price was probably $68 on these. So there's room. There's certainly room for these to move. Let's look at one more real quick. Emissaries of Light. I think this is reasonably new. Yeah, so here's booster box. Again, this is $92. They're at $68, $69 distro price. So every one of these sets is up post distro. So it's something I'm looking at. It's probably a mistake to share it with you animals, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So here's the freebie. Gundam, everybody's favorite OP wannabe. I say that tongue in cheek. I told you guys 2 weeks ago that there was a second wave coming out. Came from Southern, GTS, Alliance. The PhD Wave 2 just hit this past week, / through yesterday. So this is now the maximum amount of product that is going to be on the market. If we look at this here, we now have sell-through. I mean, 20 some a day, 50 some a day. There's a lot of sell-through. A lot of sell-through on singles. Now the price of the singles have come down, but 268 available, 1,400 boxes is sold in the last month. I'm actually bigger fans of the sealed cases. I obviously got a bunch from distro. I bought a couple aftermarket, but we don't know what the reprint strategy is going to look like for this. We know that the Japanese Twitter account said, hey, we're aware that there's not a whole lot of product out there. We have some availability issues and we're dealing with it. Nothing has come out in English. We know that Bandai is printing a lot of sets that they're pushing into the US right now. How this fits into that print schedule, I don't know. But I could very easily see 2 weeks from now, these boxes being at $250 And shortly thereafter, they're probably at $300, $400, $500 because once they go from 200 to 250, everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon and say, "Holy shit, I want to own these." And the game continues to increase. I guess there's an event in Texas that they just up to 256 players or something like that. For a game that just came out, it's pretty damn good. So I like it from a spec perspective. I mean, quite honestly, I think these are $1,000 boxes if the game sticks around and Bandai doesn't Bandai, which they haven't done recently. But again, if you're going to buy them, if you want to spec on them, now is the time to do it because there will never be more product than this out on the market, barring a substantial reprint that is not today, tomorrow, or next week. So anyway, guys, just wanted to share what I'm buying right now. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and have a good night.